Our first contender tonight is Stephen Howard, a content marketing executive from Manchester on FIFA World Cups. Nikki Zhang is a tax manager from London. She's answering questions on Alexander the Great. Next, Judith Sansom, an NHS administrator from Denbighshire, on the films of Rupert Everett. And Adam Gilchrist, a broadcaster from London, his specialist subject, the Battle of Agincourt. And welcome to Mastermind with me, John Humphrys. Tonight's contenders, as ever, will answer questions on their specialist subject for 2 minutes and then on general knowledge for 2.5 minutes. And tonight's winner goes through to the semi-final with a crack at becoming the nation's mastermind. So let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Stephen Howard.
Your occupation?
Content marketing executive.
And your chosen subject?
FIFA World Cups.
In 2 minutes, starting now. Diego Maradona said after Argentina's victory over England in the '86 World Cup that his first goal was scored a little with the head of Maradona and a little with...
the hand of God.
Yes. What was the name of the referee who issued a World Cup final record of 14 yellow cards in the 2010 final between Holland and Spain?
Howard Webb.
Yep. Which team reached the quarter-finals in 1958 but were beaten 1-0 by Brazil when Pelé scored his first goal in the World Cup finals?
Yugoslavia.
Wales. Miroslav Klose's goal in Germany's 7-1 win against Brazil in the 2014 semi-final saw him overtake Ronaldo as the leading scorer in World Cup finals with how many goals?
16.
Yeah. Neither of the stadiums that hosted the Group 4 matches in the '66 World Cup finals still exist. One of them was Ayresome Park. What was the other?
Croke Park.
Roker Park. Who claimed the hand of God now belongs to me after his goal line handball and the resultant penalty miss by Ghana's Asamoah Gyan helped Uruguay reach the 2010 semi-finals?
Luis Suarez.
Yes, 3 players have scored 10 or more goals in a single World Cup finals tournament. Just Fontaine and Sandor Kocsis are 2. Who is the third?
Gerd Muller.
Yep. The home ground shared by Internazionale and AC Milan is named after a player who was a member of Italy's World Cup winning teams in 1934 and 38. Who was he?
Giuseppe Meazza.
Yep. Roberto Baggio, who missed the decisive penalty kick that gave Brazil victory over Italy in the '94 final, was known as Il Divino Corino because of his distinctive hairstyle. What does that nickname mean?
The Divine Ponytail.
Yes. In the '98 final, Marcel Desailly became the first player to be sent off from a winning team in a World Cup final when he was shown a second yellow card for a foul on which player?
Ronaldo.
Cafu. Which German midfielder is the only outfield player to have appeared in 5 World Cup final tournaments?
Lothar Matthäus.
Yes. Which East European country went 17 games without a win in the World Cup finals before beating Greece 4-0 in a group match in 1994?
Yugoslavia.
Well, not that far away in distance anyway, Bulgaria. You have scored, Stephen. No passes, 8 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Nikki Zhang.
Your occupation?
Tax manager.
And your chosen subject?
Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great. In 2 minutes, here we go. Alexander the Great was king of Macedonia in the 4th century BC. From the age of 13, he was taught by a philosopher and former student of Plato. Who was he?
Aristotle.
Yep. At what battle of 338 BC against the Greek city-states did Alexander lead a cavalry charge that led to the destruction of the Theban sacred band?
Chironia.
Yep. A temple at Ephesus is traditionally said to have burned down while the goddess it was dedicated to was attending Alexander's birth. Which goddess?
Artemis.
Yep. Who was Alexander's second in command during the campaign against Persia and the commander of the left wing of his army?
Parmenion.
Parmenion, yeah. When Alexander and his army crossed the Hindu Kush from the Kabul Valley into Bactria in 329 BC, they're thought to have taken a pass that rises to over 11,000 feet. Which pass?
Karwek.
Yeah. What name's given to the puzzle that Alexander is said to have solved in Phrygia? A prophecy claimed that the person who solved it would rule all of Asia.
Gordian knot.
Yes. Which city defended by the eunuch Baptiste did Alexander capture after a 2-month siege in 332 BC?
Pass.
Which Indian ruler did Alexander defeat at the Battle of the Hydaspes River in 326 BC?
Porus.
Yep. What was the name of Alexander's favourite seer who predicted that the city of Alexandria in Egypt would be prosperous after the barley used to mark out its boundaries was eaten by birds?
Aristander.
Yes, an Athenian woman called Thais is said to have persuaded Alexander to burn down a Persian royal palace in 330 BC. In which city was the palace?
Persepolis.
Yep. Who was Alexander's lifelong friend? When he died at Ecbatana in 324 BC, Alexander had his doctor executed.
Hephaestion.
Yep. On his return from India to Persia, Alexander led part of his army on a 60-day march across the desert. Which desert?
Bedrosia.
Yeah. What was the name of the daughter of the Bactrian nobleman Oxyates, whom Alexander married after the capture of the Sogdian rock?
Roxanne.
Yep. What was the name of Alexander's cupbearer who was implicated in the rumours that Alexander's sudden death was the result of poisoning?
Iolus.
Is correct. You had one pass. That city defended by the eunuch Baptiste was Gaza, but you've scored 13 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
My name is Judith Sansom.
Our occupation?
I'm an NHS administrator.
And your chosen subject?
The films of Rupert Everett.
In 2 minutes, starting now. Rupert Everett had success early in his career with a 1984 film based loosely on the life of the old Etonian spy Guy Burgess. What was the film called?
Another Country.
Yep, the 1990 film, The Comfort of Strangers, co-starring Everett as Colin Mayhew, is based on a novel by which English author?
Ian McEwan.
Yep, in Shakespeare in Love, Christopher Marlowe tells Will that he's nearly finished writing a play that is even better than Dr. Faustus. What does he say his new play is called?
Salome's Feast.
Massacre at Paris. Which actor sings Lady Come Down with Rupert Everett over the closing credits of The Importance of Being Earnest?
Colin Firth.
Yep. In To Kill a King, what fruit does Charles I offer Lord Fairfax shortly before he tears up the document that contains terms to limit his powers as king?
Oranges.
Plums. In An Ideal Husband, to whom does Everett's character, Lord Goring, say that during the season he will only talk about serious matters on the first Tuesday of every month?
To his father.
His father, yes, Lord Caversham. In which 2004 film directed by Richard Eyre does Everett play King Charles II?
Stage Beauty.
Yes. What sport is Everett's character Bill Boole playing when he first encounters Anne Manning in Separate Lies?
Cricket.
Yep. What question is on the card with the flowers that David Blakely sends to Ruth Ellis for the first time in Dance with a Stranger?
Will you come out with me?
Not quite. When is your day off? In which 94 comedy horror film based on an Italian illustrated novel by Tiziano Sclavi does Everett star in the title role?
Della Morte dell'Amore.
Yes, or Cemetery Man. Everett provides the voice of which scheming central character in Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third?
Prince Charming.
Yep. What is the name of the Venetian waterfront hotel where the English couple Colin and Mary, played by Everett, and Natasha Richardson, stay to try and rekindle their relationship in the comfort of strangers?
The Hotel Gabrielli.
Correct. In My Best Friend's Wedding, George says that he met his friend Julianne in a mental institution while he was visiting a person who claimed to be which famous singer?
Dionne Warwick.
Yeah. What word of admonishment spoken by the Prince of Wales causes King George III to fly into a rage during a recital of Handel's music?
Sit down.
No, it was hush. Actually, it was hush, father, hush. He said it twice, allegedly. Anyway, Judith, no passes. You have scored 10 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Adam Gilchrist.
Your occupation?
Broadcaster.
Chosen subject?
The Battle of Agincourt.
The Battle of Agincourt. In 2 minutes, here we go. The battle was fought on the 25th of October in 1415, when French forces blocked the path of Henry V's army as it was marching from the successful siege of Honfleur towards which city?
Calais.
Yep. The English army at Agincourt was severely depleted because of an outbreak of a disease that had become an epidemic at the siege of Honfleur. What disease?
Dysentery.
Yep. Who replaced Edward, Duke of York, in command of the rear guard of the English army? It became the left wing during the battle.
Lord Camoys.
Yep. The French army originally mustered in which city, where a royal council decided neither the king nor the dauphin should take part in the coming battle?
Rouen.
Yep. What is the name of the narrow, pointed arrowhead that was used by Henry's archers? It may have been able to penetrate the ventilation slits in helmets and even been effective against plate armour.
The Bodkin.
Yeah. Which village stood in the woodland that protected the right flank of the English line of battle opposite Agincourt?
Tramecourt.
Yep. Who was the French Grand Master of crossbowmen who was killed along with 3 of his sons?
David de Rambourg.
Yep. In what village to the rear of the English line did Henry's army camp before and after the battle? It was where the baggage train was originally positioned.
Maisoncelles.
Yep. Where did Henry's army cross the river Ternoise on the afternoon before the battle and find the French army had taken up a position that blocked its path?
Near Terricourt.
Blangy. Which of Henry's brothers was wounded during the battle? Henry stood over his body and protected him till he could be safely removed from the battlefield.
Duke of Gloucester.
Yep. What was the name of the Duke of Burgundy, whose absence from the battle because of the dispute with the Armagnac faction was seen as a factor in the French defeat?
John the Fearless.
Yes. What role in Henry's army was played during the campaign in France by Thomas Morstead and William Bradwardine?
They were both surgeons.
They were. Which French duke was killed by Henry's bodyguard while he was trying to surrender to Henry?
Duke de Brabant.
No, Duke of Alençon. A gentleman would forfeit his horse and harness if he broke Henry's order for silence on the eve of the battle. What part of his body would a member of the lower ranks have cut off if they failed to comply?
An ear.
Yeah. The right ear, specifically, but yes, an ear. There we are. What a penalty. Right, Adam, no passes, 12 points. Well, some high scoring there. Let's have a look at all of the scores. In 4th place, 8 points, Stephen Howard. 3rd place, 10 points, Judith Sansom. 2nd place, 12 points, Adam Gilchrist. 1st place, 13 points, Nicky Zhang. The general knowledge round now, and if there's a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, there has to be a tie break. So let us get on with it and ask Stephen to join us again, please. And you start out with 8 points, Stephen, but this is 2.5 minutes of general knowledge questions, so plenty of time. Here we go. In the Enid Blyton books, what's the name of the gang that consists of Julian, Dick, and George and Timmy the dog?
Famous 5.
Yep. According to the proverb, which month comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb?
January.
March. What is the title of Beyoncé's 3rd UK #1 album, which topped the charts in May 2016?
Lemonade.
Yep. Which country recorded their first Test cricket victory over England in October 2016 to leave a 3-match series level at 1-1?
Bangladesh.
Yep. In biology, what's the name of the cells that can produce any type of cell and can be used to replace damaged ones?
Pass.
Which aquatic plant produces white flowers that are the largest of any native British plant?
Lily.
Yes, water lily. Which country has an island separated from its neighbouring islands by the Cook Strait to the north and by the Foveaux Strait to the south?
Japan.
New Zealand. What is the first name of the American girl who eventually becomes Tarzan's wife in the novels by Edgar Rice Burroughs?
Jane.
Yep. Which European capital city fell to the Germans on the 27th of September 1939?
Warsaw.
Yes. In the UK, the origins of which organisation date back to 1512, when a crown service for the carriage of government dispatches was set up?
Bank of England.
The Royal Mail. What is the name of the children's television special investigator who lives in a red pillar box in Baker Street?
Basil the Great. Mouse Detective.
Danger Mouse. As which biblical figure did Dante Gabriel Rossetti's sister Christina pose in his painting of the Annunciation?
Jesus Christ.
Virgin Mary. In Indian cuisine, what dish has a name that comes from the Hindi words for two and onion?
Tikka masala.
Dopiasa. What novel by Gustave Flaubert is the story of the love affair and suicide of a bored doctor's wife in rural Normandy?
Madame Bovary.
Yep. Which legendary king is named in the medieval tales known as the Mabinogion as the owner of a mare called Llamrei?
Arthur.
Yep. Which British violinist released his first album of his own compositions entitled Kafka in 1996?
Nigel Kennedy.
Yes. Britain's first long-distance footpath or national trail was officially opened in 1965. What's its name?
Pennine Way.
Yes. Which former Conservative Party leader was educated at Wath-upon-Dearne Comprehensive School in Rotherham and Magdalen College in Oxford?
Michael Howard.
William Hague. Just one past, Stephen. Those special cells that can produce any type of cell are stem cells. You knew it, didn't you? There you go. There you go. It's the chair that does it. You have scored 18 points. And now Judith again, please. And you start the round, Judith, with 10 points. So let's see how you do with 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. Here we go. In 79 AD, the eruption of a volcano caused the destruction of the Roman cities of Pompeii, Stabiae and Herculaneum. Which volcano?
Vesuvius.
Yes. What is the name of the cocktail served as a long drink made from white rum, coconut milk, ice and pineapple juice?
Long Island iced tea.
Pina colada. The victorious Lakota Indians gave the name the Battle of the Greasy Grass to which battle of June 1876?
Little Bighorn.
Yes. Brother and sister David Broome and Liz Edgar were leading competitors in which sport?
Show jumping.
Yep. In which television series does Callister Flockhart play the title role of a young lawyer at Cage, Fish and Associates?
Sex and the City.
Ally McBeal. What type of written work did Quentin Crisp describe as an obituary in serial form with the last instalment missing?
Diary.
Autobiography. Which painting by Holman Hunt takes its name from a description in Leviticus of an ancient Hebrew ritual carried out on the Day of Atonement?
The Light of the World.
The scapegoat. The adjective otic refers to which part of the body?
Ear.
Yeah. The name of which large public square in Beijing means Gate of Heavenly Peace?
Tiananmen Square.
Yes. Shakespearean and Petrarchan are the two main types of which verse form?
Sonnet.
Yep. Which conservative news website is named after its American founder who died in 2012, aged 43?
Fox.
Breitbart. Who co-directed and starred as Don Lockwood in the 52 film musical Singing in the Rain?
Gene Kelly.
Yes. Which of London's lost rivers rises on Hampstead Heath and flows into the Thames via a large sewer below Blackfriars Bridge?
Fleet.
Yes. What name for the day that marks the first day of Lent comes from the mark placed on the head of a penitent on that day?
Ash Wednesday.
Yes. Bane, Firenze and Ronan, who live in the Forbidden Forest, first appear in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. What creatures from Greek mythology are they?
Centaurs.
Yes. Who joined the Rolling Stones as a guitarist to replace Brian Jones in 1969? He later left the band and was replaced by Ronnie Wood.
C.D. Jones.
Mick Taylor. Which Palestinian leader was born Mohammed Rahman Abd al-Rauf al-Qudwa al-Husseini in 1929 and died in Paris in November 2004?
Anwar Sadat.
Yasser Arafat, who was famously rescued after getting lost in the Sahara with his co-driver in a Paris-Dakar rally in January 1982.
Oh, Mark Thatcher.
Yes. No passes, Judith. You have scored 21 points. And now, Adam, again, please. And you, Adam, already have 12 points in the bag, as you will have heard. The score to beat, as we speak, is 21. Here we go with your 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. What Christian name was shared by 3 of the wives of Henry VIII?
Catherine.
Yes. What term used in cookery means to spoon juices and melted fat over meat to keep it moist during cooking?
Based.
Yeah. In 1995, which artist's exhibit in the Turner Prize exhibition was the installation Mother and Child Divided, featuring 2 cows in formaldehyde?
David. Oh, pass.
Nope, Damien Hirst. Which British cyclist married Jason Kenny in September 2016? She and Kenny have 10 Olympic cycling gold medals between them.
Laura Trott.
Yes. Which city is the largest in Venezuela and is the country's capital?
Caracas.
Yes. The television series Lipstick on Your Collar was the final part of a playwright's musical trilogy that included Pennies from Heaven and The Singing Detective. Which playwright?
It was Mike Nichols.
Dennis Potter. On which Pacific island is Vailima, where Robert Louis Stevenson lived from the late 1880s until his death in 1894?
Tahiti.
Samoa. Who refused to surrender her bus seat to a white man on the 1st of December 1955? A consequent arrest led to a bus boycott by black passengers in Montgomery, Alabama.
Pass.
What classic 1982 sci-fi film directed by Ridley Scott is based on Philip K. Dick's novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Blade Runner.
Yes. In geometry, complementary angles are 2 angles that, when they're added together, equal how many degrees?
180.
90. Who was awarded the 2016 Nobel Prize in Literature for having created new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition?
George Gershwin.
Bob Dylan. In English folklore, who was Robin Hood's chaplain and steward?
Friar Tuck.
Yes. Which religious title, that translates roughly as Ocean of Wisdom, was first bestowed by the Mongol chief Altan Khan in the 16th century?
Pass.
In which opera by Puccini does the Japanese heroine marry Lieutenant Pinkerton?
Madame Butterfly.
Yes. In pre-decimal currency, there were 252 pennies in one what?
Guinea.
Yes. The hereditary title Herzog is the German equivalent of which rank of the nobility in Britain?
Duke.
Yes. What is the title of Stevie Wonder's 1981 #2 hit single that was a plea for Martin Luther King Day to be officially recognized in America?
Happy Birthday.
Yes. Which bird is famous for its song that begins as it rises steeply and hangs in the air over its territory?
Lark.
The skylark, yes. You had 2 passes, Adam. That Mongol chief, Altan Khan, in the 16th century, was the first to choose the Dalai Lama. That was the title. And Rosa Parks was that brave woman who refused to surrender her seat on the bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Adam, you now have scored a total of 23 points. And finally, Nikki again, please. And you, Nikki, start out with 13 points. Score to beat has now risen to 23. So, here we go, if you're to get through to the next round, the semi-finals. Which author created a number of obnoxious children, including Augustus Gloop and Veruca Salt?
Roald Dahl.
Yes. In tennis, what term is used in English-speaking countries for the score of 0?
Love.
Yes. The Royal, first shown in 2003 and set in St Aidan's Royal Free Hospital in Elsinby, was a spin-off from which long-running television series?
Cheers.
Heartbeat. In which cathedral city in Somerset is Vicar's Close believed to be the only complete medieval street that survives in England today?
Salisbury.
Wells. The white wine Orvieto comes from which country?
Italy.
Yep. What name of Latin origin is given to an open sore on the skin or mucous membrane? It can also mean a source of corruption.
Pass.
Which horse took nearly 20 seconds off the previous record for the Grand National when he won the race in 1973? His record stood until 1990 when it was broken by Mr. Frisk.
Red Rum.
Yep. Which future king became heir to the throne on the death of Henry, Prince of Wales in 1612?
George I.
Charles I. A stained glass window dedicated to a wit and playwright was unveiled in Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey in February 1995. Who was he?
Shakespeare.
Oscar Wilde. What is the 4th letter of the Greek alphabet, equivalent to the Roman letter D?
Delta.
Yep. Which singer, a former runner-up in the X Factor, topped the UK album charts in November 2016 with 24 Hours?
Drake.
Ollie Moores. Mike Pence, who was sworn in as US Vice President in January 2017, was previously governor of which state?
Florida.
Indiana. The name of which wildflower is said to come from the ancient Greek belief that its root could cure a person bitten by a rabid dog?
Mandrake.
Dog rose. Athos and Porthos were two of the three musketeers. Who was the third?
D'Artagnan.
Aramis. In football, who was named FIFA Men's Coach of the Year in January 2017 but lost his job just under 2 months later?
Allardyce.
Ranieri. On the 21st of August 1959, which island group became the 50th American state?
Hawaii.
Yes. Which Mozart opera concludes with the title character being dragged down to hell?
Don Giovanni.
Yes. In Virgil's Aeneid, a Greek youth called Sinon tells the Trojans a gift left by the Greeks to appease the goddess Minerva will save the city from destruction only if they take it within their walls. What is the gift?
Wooden horse.
Yes. What French expression for a naughty child has come to be applied to a person given to unconventional conduct or indiscreet remarks?
Pass.
The poets Adrian Henry, Roger McGough and Brian Patton were part of the popular culture of which city in the 1960s?
Chicago.
Liverpool. Which film actor was born Bernard Schwartz in the Bronx, New York in June 1925? His films include The Vikings, The Sweet Smell of Success and The Defiant Ones.
Woody Allen.
Tony Curtis is the correct answer to that. You had two passes. That French expression for a naughty child, enfant terrible. And the name given to an open sore on the skin, ulcer. You have, Nikki, 21 points.
Thank you.
Pretty close. Let's have a look at all of the scores. In fourth place, 18 points, Stephen Howard. Joint second place, 21 points apiece, Nikki Zhang and Judith Sansom. In first place with 23 points, Adam Gilchrist. Which means that Adam is tonight's winner and he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. And if you'd like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us on Twitter @mastermindquiz. And do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.